A system window introduces the Red North Ocean Dungeon, recommended level 550 plus. An unidentified character lands a powerful glowing kick on an unseen enemy. The kick smashes directly into the jaw of a red-skinned monster, causing a massive impact. The boss, 3 Sea Dragon Gods, level 552, is revealed while taking the hit. One of the Sea Dragon Gods retaliates by smashing its fist into the ground. 2 of the 3 identical Red Sea Dragon Gods glare forward, ready for a real fight. A man in a red cape and armor faces the monsters, sword drawn and ready. The red-caped man gets pushed back, noting how ugly his opponents are mid-fight. He's revealed as Musketeer Ted, level 559, complaining that they're also tough. Ted leaps and fires his gunblade, landing a perfect bloody headshot on a Sea Dragon God. One Sea Dragon God holds the head of the one Ted just blasted off. The main character pops a bullet pill, realizing the boss gets stronger with fewer heads. The MC decides he needs a new plan as a massive water attack slams a Sea Dragon God. A new character in white and blue armor appears, recognizing the sudden attack. The new guy unleashes a point-blank water cannon right in the Sea Dragon God's face. The Sea Dragon God gets completely engulfed in a violent, high-pressure water vortex. The water attack is so brutal it looks like it's trying to atomize the monster. The 2 remaining Sea Dragon Gods just stand there laughing like it was a damn bubble bath. The scene shifts to a dark, ominous cave as the rain suddenly starts pouring down. All that laughter stops as the 2 Sea Dragon Gods now look terrified of the cave. The main character reveals this whole terrifying sequence was his master plan all along. The MC finally appears, standing on the boss's shoulders, ready to one-shot the last 2 heads. Our boy sheds a dramatic tear, bidding farewell to the boss he's about to execute. The Sea Dragon God lets out a final, pathetic scream as it gets completely annihilated. The remaining 2 Sea Dragon Gods are reduced to nothing but dust in the wind. The MC gets a world-first achievement for a solo clear, which is a straight-up lie. He immediately levels up twice to 601 and collapses, completely drained from the fight. The MC justifies the win by thinking about all the cash and time he burned preparing. An unknown figure with a red hand is revealed to have been watching the entire fight. A flashback shows the insane amount of rare poisons and buffs the MC used to win. The MC sits on the boss's corpse, realizing he just blew $1 billion in 2 weeks. He's now stressing about selling all the loot just to hopefully break even. The MC reveals the real prize was a rare drop, the essence of the Sea God. He calls himself lucky for getting the low drop rate item on the first try. But then he gets a bad feeling, knowing things never go this smoothly for him. The scene cuts to an intro for the VR game they're all playing, Face Chronicle. A flashback reveals Musketeer Ted is a top 100 national ranker in the game. But the dude's one fatal flaw is having the absolute worst luck imaginable. We see his entire hard-earned territory get wiped out by a random earthquake event. Then his guild got into a traffic accident before a siege, forcing him to play solo. Musketeer Ted whines about how his god-awful luck is conveniently confined to video games. He declares his bad luck streak ends now, betting it all on new information. Ted arrives at the Flame Hell Mountain Range, a level 600-plus dungeon. An info dump explains the boss, Inferno Orochi, is unattackable during its molting period. Ted touches the boss's indestructible shell, knowing he has a way to crack it. He reveals his plan is to peel off the shell and attack the weakened main body. Ted climbs the desolate, fiery mountain, searching for the perfect spot to begin. He pulls out the essence of the Sea God, the rare item the MC just looted. Ted smirks, counting on the essence to be the key to breaking the boss's defense. He pours the glowing blue liquid onto the fiery ground, kicking off his master plan. The essence of the Sea God hits the fiery ground, glowing like a magical catalyst. The blue energy spreads through the cracks, basically water cooling a whole volcano. The boss's eye snaps open, looking absolutely furious about the sudden temperature change. A quick flashback shows an empty bottle, reminding us of the MC's expensive prep work. The flashback continues, showing the MC chugging his billion-dollar buff cocktail. Back to Ted, he kneels and confirms the boss is on its way up. The ground erupts in a massive explosion of rock and pure red energy. The level 650 boss, Inferno Orochi, finally emerges to see who woke it up. Ted doesn't even flinch and immediately aims his gunblade at the giant snake. His shots actually land, making the unattackable boss scream in agony. Musketeer Ted smirks, thinking his plan to damage the weakened boss is working perfectly. The Inferno Orochi's eye glares with pure, unadulterated rage, promising a world of hurt. The weakened boss immediately lunges at Ted with the speed of a goddamn freight train. Orochi's head slams into the ground, narrowly missing Ted but obliterating the landscape. Ted gets blown back, realizing his brilliant plan might have a few minor, fatal flaws. He panics, learning the boss is only vulnerable to damage, not actually weaker in stats. The Inferno Orochi charges up a massive breath attack, ready to delete Ted from the server. Ted's face shows pure terror as he recognizes the incoming one-shot kill move. A massive column of fire erupts from the boss, aimed directly at our unlucky musketeer. The entire area is consumed by the fiery explosion, with Ted right in the damn epicenter. Inferno Orochi's fire breath obliterates the ground in a massive explosive beam. The attack leaves a smoldering red-hot trench carved into the mountainside. Musketeer Ted lies on the ground, somehow surviving the blast that just missed him. Ted realizes he only dodged by using his gun's recoil at the last second. He admits that even with the boss weakened, a single hit means instant death. Musketeer Ted grits his teeth, refusing to back down from this suicidal fight. He looks back at the path of destruction, confirming he's completely outmatched. Ted calculates his win rate at a generous 30%, which is hilarious given his luck. Despite the terrible odds, he powers up his aura and readies his gunblade for round 2. The entire volcanic landscape is now a raging inferno, setting the stage for the fight. Musketeer Ted collapses to his knees, admitting his body has finally hit its limit. A system message reveals Ted somehow won, pulling off the server's first solo Orochi raid. A VR capsule beeps and opens, signaling the end of a very, very long gaming session. The main character sits up in the capsule, looking like he just went through hell. The MC stumbles out, complaining about the physical strain of being logged in for so long. He decides to auction off all his new loot before finally getting some much-needed sleep. Our boy suddenly remembers one last thing he needs to do before passing out. He uploads videos of both the Sea Dragon and the Inferno Orochi solo fights. The MC smiles, saying he uploads the videos for his future self to enjoy later. He reveals his name is Amano Kyohei as he signs off for the night. A narrator foreshadows that Kyohei has no idea what kind of chaos he's just unleashed. The MC's solo Sea Dragon video sits at 0 views, oblivious to the internet storm brewing. The view count starts to climb, kicking off the viral chain reaction he didn't plan for. Views skyrocket into the hundreds of thousands as Kyohei narrates his own impending doom. The scene cuts to the real world, where the legendary boss kill videos are already trending. Some random gamer at a PC cafe gets hassled by his friend to watch the insane new video. The skeptical gamer pulls up the Inferno Orochi solo video, still thinking his friend is exaggerating. His skepticism shatters as he realizes the unbelievable title might actually be for real. The guy completely loses his shit, screaming about someone soloing a level 650 boss. His friends argue it's fake, but another points out it's a 40-hour unedited video. The PC cafe gamers discover the player's name is Ted, a nobody barely in the top 100. The gamers call bullshit, saying a crappy musketeer class can't possibly solo that boss. One of the guys asks if this Ted has uploaded any other videos, digging for more. The scene flashes back to our MC, Kyohei, streaming as his in-game avatar, Ted. Kyohei Ted explains his strategy for hunting the Ogre King from a cliffside perch. He charges up a glowing, guaranteed hit skill to snipe one of the ogres first. The shot lands perfectly, blowing the Ogre King's head clean off its shoulders. Kyohei Ted explains he'll rush the mobs while his main skill is on cooldown. He gives a confident smirk, ready to dive in and finish the fight up close. Kyohei Ted blitzes the smaller mobs, saying his aggressive style is better than slow sniping. Kyohei Ted explains his genius strategy is to just group enemies up to kill them faster. He demonstrates by charging headfirst at an Ogre King, making it the primary target. My guy dodges a club swing while simultaneously drawing aggro from a second Ogre King. He immediately blasts one of the ogres in the face, causing a satisfying bloody explosion. Ted uses his gun's recoil to ride the ogre's club and get in close to stun it. He calmly faces down another Ogre King, saying the fight is over if you can dodge. Ted then proves his point by kicking the ogre's head clean off its shoulders. He explains the ogres have no loyalty and will just attack the highest damage dealer. Kyohei Ted then mops up all the small fry while the big guys are busy fighting. He finishes his strategy guide with a bloody smile as his stream chat goes wild. A new character, Rudisa, demands her staff book the mystery player for her show. Her producer explains Ted is too socially awkward for TV while watching his boss fight footage. The scene confirms this is for TV Rudisa, so our boy is getting major media attention. Rudisa doesn't care, saying his in-game charisma is more than enough to carry the interview. Kyohei Ted ends his stream, sighing about the fact he even had to do one. A flashback shows Kyohei having a complete meltdown over his videos going massively viral overnight. Kyohei declares his streak of misfortune is over, basically asking for the universe to smite him. He gets an anonymous call and assumes it's the talk show producer he's been dodging. Kyohei answers the call while the actual producer gets rejected, revealing a new person is on the line. The mysterious caller's intro is set over a field of freshly slaughtered pixelating monsters. The mysterious caller reveals they're from CGTV and want to recruit Kyohei. Kyohei blows off their charter flight offer and hangs up on the anonymous call. He realizes one of the 7 great guilds is scouting him and looks absolutely furious. An info dump explains the 7 great guilds are massive corporations running the game's economy. The graphic specifies that CGTV is one of the 2 Chinese mega guilds in the game. Kyohei recalls CGTV's bad reputation and decides to dismantle his hard-earned loot. He's about to scrap the priceless cores from both the Orochi and Sea Dragon bosses. Kyohei ignores an NPC's warning and demands he destroy the irreplaceable boss cores. As the items are destroyed, Kyohei connects CGTV's call directly to his Orochi video. Kyohei deduces that CGTV's specific interest in the Orochi kill means something is up. Kyohei discovers the destroyed boss cores are marked with the logos of guilds CGTV and Alibaba. He realizes the mega guilds were illegally taming the very bosses he just slaughtered on video. Kyohei vents to the poor NPC that he accidentally exposed a massive corporate conspiracy. He slams his fist on the counter, absolutely furious about his luck turning sour again. Kyohei processes that his epic wins just put him on the hit list of 2 giant corporations. My guy absolutely seethes, wondering when his god-awful luck was ever supposed to end. Back in the real world, Kyohei panics, knowing the guilds will eventually hunt him down. He desperately scans his inbox for an escape plan and notices the email from Rudisa TV. Kyohei gets a sudden flash of inspiration, realizing the media offer is his only way out. He immediately starts typing a reply to Rudisa TV, deciding to hide in the spotlight. Kyohei stands in a town square, completely oblivious as a mob of players starts to surround him. An axe comes flying out of nowhere, aimed directly at the back of our boy's head. Kyohei barely dodges the attack, getting a nasty gash on his face for his trouble. A squad of heavily armored players walks up, their leader sarcastically complimenting his detection skills. The guild leader gets straight to the point, asking why Kyohei destroyed their illegal boss pets. Kyohei realizes the Mega Guild found him way too fast and came stacked with unique grade gear. The entire guild hits squad powers up, glowing with that "you're not logging out" aura. The leader continues his villain monologue, crying about the financial losses from the dead bosses. Kyohei fires back that if they were taming them, they should have put a damn name tag on. A giant, bloody hand erupts from the ground, grabbing Kyohei before he can even react. Kyohei gets absolutely slammed into the ground by the giant red hand spell. The guild sorcerer reveals the hand is a tentacle spell, telling Kyohei this is not a request. Kyohei identifies the attacker as world-class ranker Manhwa, who declares his demand is an order. Manhwa dismisses Kyohei's intentions, but gets interrupted mid-threat by our pinned-down boy. Kyohei counters Manhwa's threat by pulling up a mysterious screen, catching him off guard. He reveals the screen is an email to Rudisa TV, flexing his high detection skill. Kyohei lays out his leverage, proof of the guild's illegal activities ready for the world's biggest streamer. Manhwa gets absolutely furious, realizing he's been completely outplayed by Kyohei's blackmail. Kyohei smirks, daring the guild to make a move while holding the send button hostage. Kyohei starts a surprise stream, acting like he wasn't just threatened by a corporate death squad. Kyohei puts on a show for his stream, announcing his retirement to sell his blackmail story. Manhwa interrupts the broadcast by hitting Kyohei with a multi-layered curse called Seal of the Arrogant Monarch. Kyohei gets completely dominated by the curse, his body covered in glowing red seals. Manhwa gives him a 1-week ultimatum. Delete the character or he'll player kill him and his friends forever. Kyohei, bloody and beaten, still tries to threaten Manhwa with exposing the guild's crimes. Manhwa coldly dismisses the threat, saying the internet will forget, but his PK spree won't. The guild leader leaves Kyohei cursed and defeated, confident he's won the argument. A flashback shows Kyohei desperately trying to find an NPC to remove the permanent curse. His efforts were a complete failure, as shown by his character lying dead on a rocky shore. Kyohei reveals he can't delete his account because it holds memories of playing with his family. The game presents the character deletion screen, the final boss of any long-term player. Kyohei caves, deciding to delete his character to protect his family from the guilds. He tries to cope by telling himself starting over will be easy, which is a massive lie. Kyohei hesitates over the delete button, a single drop of sweat showing his true feelings. Back in the real world, Kyohei has a full-blown meltdown over losing 10 years of progress. A flashback shows off his unique class musket, one of only 2 in the entire country. It's revealed he got the gun by grinding a solo SS-class quest for 3 straight years. Kyohei realizes he's too attached to his hard-earned weapon to just delete the account. He grips his gunblade, deciding he's not going down without a goddamn fight. Kyohei stands defiant, ready to take on the guilds himself until the very end. Kyohei announces his final stream will be a soul engraving, and his chat immediately loses its mind. An info dump explains soul engraving is a massive stat boost with a fixed 10% success rate. The system then reveals the failure rate is a 100% chance to completely destroy the item. Kyohei flexes the stats on his unique musket, the same one he spent 3 years grinding for. His chat begs him to just give the ultra-rare gun away instead of destroying it for content. Kyohei admits there's no point even if he succeeds, since he's deleting the character anyway. He tries to justify this insane gamble as a way to finally let go of his character, Ted. Kyohei tells his viewers he's teaching them a final lesson about gambling before he quits for good. He sheds another dramatic tear, saying goodbye to the 10 years of effort he's about to risk. The NPC blacksmith just looks on, completely baffled by this dude's public meltdown. The NPC blacksmith announces the 10% soul engraving was somehow successful. Kyohei stares in disbelief at his gun's insane new stats after hitting the jackpot. Kyohei panics as the NPC celebrates, and his chat demands he keep the stream going. My guy ignores everyone and tells the shocked blacksmith he's gambling the gun again. Kyohei literally cries, begging the gun to break so he can finally delete his character. It succeeds again, and Kyohei has a meltdown, demanding a third suicidal attempt. Kyohei realizes he just hit 3 consecutive successes against impossible 1 in 1,000 odds. He tells the god of fortune to get lost because he's trying to quit the game. A creepy 4-leaf clover monster appears, whispering for him to go one more time. The personification of his good luck gives him a seductive wink, and it's horrifying. Kyohei literally begs the NPC blacksmith to try the enhancement again, hoping it finally breaks. The enhancement succeeds with a massive flash of light as Kyohei screams about his terrible timing. The gunblade glows with a menacing red aura as the NPC calls him the luckiest person ever. The blacksmith proudly displays the Pulse 7 gun, calling it his life's greatest work. Kyohei calculates the gun's insane new power level, realizing it's now worth billions. He admits that even with this god-tier weapon, he still can't beat the mega guilds. Kyohei imagines Manhwa still wiping the floor with him, proving his point immediately. He stands alone, realizing selling the gun is pointless if he's just going to delete Ted anyway. Kyohei flashes back to the 10 years he's poured into this character, refusing to start over. He smiles, admitting that no amount of money can replace the decade he spent building his character. Kyohei gets a dangerous idea, wondering if he can literally gamble his way out of this guild problem. He immediately ends the stream, realizing this insane luck needs to stay off the record. Kyohei, looking like a true gambling addict, demands the blacksmith go for another enhancement. A massive flash of light erupts from the blacksmith because, of course, it succeeded again. The gunblade hits +9 enhancement, officially entering the realm of mythical bullshit. Kyohei looks completely broken as the system confirms his gun is now a +9 legendary item. An info dump explains that +8 items are basically strategic weapons that governments try to buy. The game explains his +9 gun is one of only 8 in the world, worth literal tens of billions. Kyohei is visibly shaking, realizing he's holding a weapon worth more than a small country. The game literally tells Kyohei to chill out. His heart rate is over 200 from the stress. Kyohei tries to calm down, reminding himself his character is his entire life's work. He calculates that a +9 weapon is still trash, and he needs way more power to fight the guilds. The game system literally tries to stop Kyohei from using a prohibited item to buff himself. Kyohei ignores the warning, screaming that his character is more important than anything. The info dump reveals he's chugging a berserk potion with absolutely crippling side effects. High on berserker juice, Kyohei now demands a +19 enhancement like a complete madman. Kyohei screams at the terrified blacksmith to enhance again, looking completely unhinged. He grabs the poor NPC by the collar and tells him to shut up and just do his damn job. The blacksmith gets inspired by the sheer insanity and prepares for another legendary swing. The blacksmith brings down the hammer, kicking off another impossibly successful enhancement. The NPC blacksmith screams as the enhancement succeeds again, tearing a damn vortex in the sky. A skeletal entity appears, holding the gunblade and telling Kyohei it's been looking for him. The game explains +10 enhancements summon entities, as a demon named Blue Cushion offers a contract. The demon Blue Cushion offers Kyohei a once-in-a-lifetime blood contract to seal the deal. Kyohei, high on berserker rage, tells the literal demon to get lost and not interrupt him. My guy completely ignores the shocked demon and orders the blacksmith to enhance the gun again. The rejected demon Blue Kushin literally shatters into pieces, screaming Kyohei's name in disbelief. A level 700 demon appears for the plus 11 roll, only to get instantly cut off by Kyohei. The level 750 Beast King Rigel gets summoned for plus 12 and immediately gets told to kick rocks. Kyohei just keeps screaming enhance, blowing past a Supreme Demon and a Fire Spirit King. Kyohei dismisses a level 890 World Tree Guardian for the plus 115 roll, still screaming for more. He ignores a legendary level 910 Warrior for plus 16 because his brain is just pure gambling static now. Kyohei hits plus 18, summoning a damn Sea Emperor, and finally declares he's going for the last one. Still high on Berserker juice, Kyohei screams for the final enhancement like his life depends on it. The NPC Blacksmith, now fully on board with the insanity, prepares for the final legendary swing. The hammer falls and the gunblade shatters, because all luck streaks eventually meet reality. Kyohei's Berserk potion wears off the exact moment he realizes his impossible weapon is gone. My guy has a full-blown meltdown, forgetting he wanted this and now mourning his plus 118 weapon. Kyohei runs off screaming for his enhancement back, proving he's the world's worst quitter. He grabs the blacksmith, threatening to kill him for doing exactly what he was just begging for. The NPC blacksmith thanks Kyohei, revealing he's reached the pinnacle of his craft. The blacksmith ascends in a pillar of light, calling Kyohei his benefactor. Kyohei throws a punch, screaming that the blacksmith can't be happy by himself. He cries about his destroyed weapon, completely forgetting he begged for this exact outcome. The newly ascended Master Blacksmith Brahmin grabs Kyohei, who is baffled by the glow-up. Brahmin gathers the shattered pieces of the gun, explaining he gained new awakening abilities. He reveals he can resurrect failed items and adds a plus 1 enhancement, breaking the game. The Master Blacksmith says this godlike power defies nature and can't be used recklessly. Brahmin declares this miracle is a once-in-a-lifetime event, setting up the ultimate plot twist. The blacksmith brings his hammer down on the gun fragments with a legendary glow. Kyohei holds his newly reforged plus 19 gunblade, immediately checking its god-tier stats. He stares at the weapon's insane stats, wondering if his brain just blue-screened. The gun has 90% defense ignore, making it less of a weapon and more of a delete button. Kyohei does the math and realizes his gun's power just jumped by a factor of 30. He compares his musket to another legendary weapon and realizes his is 3 times stronger. My guy is completely floored that his gun now has 6 extra gem slots. Kyohei cries tears of joy, now confident he can solo the 2 mega guilds hunting him. He's already daydreaming about becoming the #1 ranker after his revenge tour. His power fantasy gets cut short as a massive, ominous crack splits the sky open. Kyohei watches in shock as a giant golden being descends from the sky to ruin his day. A new god-tier entity named Shamxion introduces itself from a giant eye in the sky. Brahmin calmly tells a confused Kyohei that this new god is here specifically for him. Kyohei gets wrapped in golden chains as Shamxion declares it's time for a worthiness test. Kyohei tries to ask for an explanation, but gets his mouth sealed by the golden energy. Kyohei realizes this is a forced event and desperately reaches out to Brahmin for help. Brahmin just smiles and wishes his benefactor good luck, offering absolutely no help. Kyohei looks completely betrayed, screaming at the useless NPC for his empty well wishes. Kyohei gets violently yeeted into the sky portal as Brahmin just watches him go. Kyohei gets a new S difficulty quest for Shamxion's trial in a weird starry dimension. Kyohei realizes he has to pass this trial to unlock the plus 19 weapon he just made. Kyohei accepts his fate, realizing he's way too deep in this mess to back out now. He officially starts the trial because the no button was probably just for decoration anyway. Kyohei gets teleported to the trial grounds with his mouth still sealed by golden energy. He arrives in a new zone above the clouds, wondering what kind of sky-level bullshit this is. Kyohei has a sudden horrifying realization about what the ground is actually made of. He's standing on a literal mountain of monster bones because this god is all about subtlety. A dark clone of Kyohei appears, calling the place the Sky King's tomb. Kyohei stares at his evil twin, realizing it's a perfect copy down to the last pixel. The clone challenges him to a fight to prove he's worthy of the power he just gambled for. Kyohei ignores the edgy monologue and just decides he needs to beat this guy up. Shadow Ted thinks Kyohei isn't as tough as he looks, underestimating the original from the jump. The clone immediately shoves his gunblade in Kyohei's face, clearly not here for a long chat. Shadow Ted's eye glows with that classic, I'm the evil edgy version red light. The clone watches some dark energy dissipate, confirming something ominous to himself. Shadow Ted leaps into the air, asking Kyohei if he's even got what it takes to fight. Kyohei instantly recognizes the clone's movement as his own 1,000-mile step skill. My guy realizes this isn't just a look-alike, the clone has his exact skills and combos. The clone blocks Kyohei's attack, telling him he better not be planning to lose this easily. Kyohei flexes his APM, popping 3 different skills at the exact same time. Kyohei declares he's about to show this cheap knockoff the difference between the original and the copy. Kyohei unleashes a charged shot, showing off the raw power of his original skills. He follows up with a rapid-fire aerial combo, trying to overwhelm the clone with pure offense. The shots land, creating a massive explosion that would vaporize any normal mob. Kyohei realizes the clone just used his own shadow footprint skill to dodge everything. Shadow Ted instantly counters, appearing in Kyohei's face and firing a point-blank shot. Kyohei admits the clone's skill level is identical to his, making this a true mirror match. Kyohei knows losing to himself would be the ultimate L, so he's not backing down. Our boy charges back in, ready to prove that experience beats a perfect copy any day. Shadow Ted just stands there emanating pure edgelord energy, waiting for the next move. The clone gives a smug look, completely confident he knows every trick Kyohei has. Shadow Ted blurs across the screen with a glowing red eye, going for a high-speed attack. A massive explosion of red and yellow energy rips through the battlefield. The clone mocks Kyohei's tactics, calling his own moves boring when used against him. Kyohei touches his gunblade, activating a skill that glows with a bright red light. Our boy fires a massive, spiraling blue energy beam right at his edgy doppelganger. Shadow Ted taunts him for trying to tank a hit he knows is powerful. The clone fires his own shot, perfectly countering the beam like he knew it was coming. Shadow Ted keeps firing, telling Kyohei he'll end this if he's just going to be pathetic. The clone's eyes glow red as he declares he's going to finish the fight directly. Kyohei and Shadow Ted unleash opposing energy beams, creating a massive aerial clash. Kyohei looks completely baffled as a yellow aura suddenly envelops him mid-clash. Shadow Ted gets the drop on Kyohei, aiming his gunblade down and calling the fight over. The clone gets caught in a surprise fire trap, realizing Kyohei isn't just fighting head-on. Shadow Ted smirks through the flames, admitting Kyohei has a few tricks up his sleeve. The clone calls out Kyohei's strategy of using traps to create an opening for an attack. Shadow Ted punches through a fire attack, calling Kyohei's plan weak and far from worthy. The clone charges a massive AoE blast, ready to nuke the entire area to flush Kyohei out. Shadow Ted unleashes his attack, causing a massive explosion across the entire bone-filled battlefield. The clone lands confidently, declaring Kyohei has nowhere left to run and the fight is done. Kyohei emerges from the smoke, looking roughed up but still standing after that massive blast. Shadow Ted stands over Kyohei, gunblade ready, telling him it's time to meet his doom. The clone gets caught in a red energy trap, realizing Kyohei set him up yet again. Kyohei lines up a perfect shot, explaining he just needed one single moment to win. Our boy reveals his secret weapon is a non-skill technique he developed called in-zoom. Shadow Ted finally gets that Kyohei was baiting him into a moment he couldn't possibly react. Kyohei fires a massive blue energy beam at his trapped clone, finally landing a clean hit. The attack completely engulfs Shadow Ted in a massive explosion of light and energy. Kyohei lies on the ground, bloody and pixelating, having somehow taken a fatal hit himself. The clone smirks with a flaming eye, looking down at Kyohei as if he's won. Shadow Ted reveals he's the Sun Liberator and wants to make Kyohei his new vessel. Kyohei collapses to the ground, pixelating and in agony after taking a mutual kill shot. He wakes up to Shamshun as a system window confirms he passed the trial to get a contract. Kyohei celebrates finally getting his Plunger 19 weapon, completely ignoring the sketchy contract reward. He cries tears of joy, thinking his bad luck is over as the contract's fine print kicks in. Kyohei stares at the reincarnating system message, finally realizing he's been completely scammed. The god tells him to be reborn as Kyohei realizes the horrifying truth of his reward. Kyohei panics as the reincarnation starts, screaming that this wasn't in the damn agreement. He watches in horror as all his skills and titles from the last decade get wiped clean. Kyohei gets de-leveled to the point he can't even equip his own gear anymore. The system confirms the reincarnation is complete, resetting 10 years of progress in an instant. Kyohei's new stat window shows he's a level 1 beginner with a useless title. Our boy Kyohei is on the ground drooling, completely broken by his 10-year progress wipe. Brayman finds him as the game force logs Kyohei out for having a heart attack. The blacksmith Brayman panics as his benefactor gets yeeted out of the game. Brahman assumes Kyohei just went home, sad he couldn't thank him for the glow-up. The newly ascended blacksmith decides to go on a training journey to honor Kyohei. Brayman walks off into the sunset like a shonen protagonist, leaving his hammer behind. Back in reality, Kyohei's body gets violently ejected from his VR capsule. Kyohei hits the floor, knocked unconscious from the pure psychological trauma of the reset. Brayman's voiceover hopes they meet again as Kyohei's hand clenches in his sleep. A narrator wishes Kyohei good luck as he lies on the floor celebrating his 19 miracles. A flashback shows the game devs panicking over a +10 weapon appearing years too early. The devs stress that a +10 weapon showed up years before their 5 to 6 year prediction. The corporate suits worry about a +15 weapon appearing, calling it a low probability event. The devs theorize that a player with insane luck could trigger the main story scenario. The devs laugh off the idea, saying no one is lucky enough to break their game. Kyohei stands as a level 1 character, finally accepting his progress wipe wasn't a dream. Back in reality, Kyohei has a complete meltdown over losing 10 years of hard work. He realizes the reset wiped not just his level, but every skill and title he ever earned. Kyohei remembers his +19 weapon, clinging to the hope he can use it to level up again. Kyohei huffs some premium copium, saying he'll just re-grind with his god-tier gun. Back in reality, my boy looks like a zombie and decides to find some food. He suddenly notices something out of the corner of his eye, because peace is never an option. Kyohei spots a mysterious envelope sticking out of his door's mail slot. He pulls out the documents, assuming it's just a delivery mistake for a neighbor. Kyohei starts reading the letter with a dead serious look on his face. His expression immediately shifts to pure, unadulterated rage as he processes the words. My guy has a full-blown meltdown, screaming in disbelief at what he just read. The letter is from Manhwa, bragging that he successfully deleted the character Ted. Manhwa reports to his guildmaster that the tracking curse vanished, confirming the deletion. Manhwa's guildmaster sees the curse was discarded, confirming Kyohei's character is gone. The guildmaster realizes Kyohei knew about their illegal boss taming before he deleted his account. He admits they PK'd a bunch of randoms to cover their tracks, but still feels paranoid. The guildmaster dismisses his own concerns, trying to act like it's not a big deal. A new villain, Fanjiwi of the Alibaba Guild, asks why they're being so damn dramatic. Fanjiwi smirks, confident their corporate crimes have enough plausible deniability to go unnoticed. She reveals they literally sacrificed other players' ships as bait for the Sea Dragon boss. Fanjiwi also admits they fed low-level players to Inferno Orochi to avoid any real witnesses. She smugly declares the whole scandal will just blow over since they have no real opposition. The guildmaster seethes, absolutely furious that some random player actually managed to scare them. Fanjiwi's subordinate points out the guildmaster is still salty about losing his pet Orochi. The guildmaster clenches his armored fist, ready to hear the plan for some corporate-level revenge. Fanjiwi explains they'll legally destroy Kyohei's life, since real-world murder is inconvenient. Kyohei has crumpled up the guild's letter, officially done with this whole bad luck thing. My boy Kyohei panics, realizing the guilds froze his bank account and video channel with a lawsuit. Kyohei rages about them claiming property rights on a boss they were illegally taming anyway. He questions the logic of their lawsuit, because rich people don't need logic, they have lawyers. Kyohei notices the trial date is undetermined, realizing this is more than a simple lawsuit. He figures out their real plan is to freeze his money and literally starve him into submission. Kyohei clenches his fist, debating whether to just leak everything to Radisa TV and burn it all down. Kyohei realizes leaking the info is useless since the guilds will just bury the story. He figures out the guilds think he's gone for good since the reset wiped Manhwa's curse. Kyohei stomps on the guild's letter, officially done with being the universe's punching bag. Our boy stands over the shredded letter, fully committing to his new revenge arc. Kyohei logs back into the game, ready to start his level 1 revenge tour. He puts on a teddy bear mask, hoping his common name will keep him hidden. Kyohei regrets having to sell all his gear just to afford this one enchanted mask. My guy spots something glowing on the ground where the blacksmith ascended into godhood. He picks up the item and realizes it's the master blacksmith Brahman's legendary hammer. Kyohei reads a message from Brahman, who calls him a benefactor and invites him over. Kyohei starts his revenge tour by getting charged by a level 1 horned rabbit. Our boy prepares to test his +19 god-tier weapon on the most basic mob imaginable. He fires a shot that just comically bonks the rabbit on the head instead of vaporizing it. The rabbit survives with a cartoonish bump, looking more confused than hurt by the attack. Kyohei has a meltdown, realizing his legendary weapon can't even one-shot a starter mob. A system window reveals his new title nerfs the weapon to his level with a 0.1% connection rate. Kyohei realizes the title's true power is a broken skill that scales with his level. An info dump explains skill orbs let players use skills from outside their normal class. He figures out his new title lets him max out any skill he gets from these orbs. Kyohei laughs like a villain, realizing this new power makes his revenge plan completely viable. Kyohei laughs like an absolute villain, terrifying the poor level 1 rabbit with his comeback plan. Our boy smirks under his bear mask, ready to start the long, painful grind back to the top. He immediately enters a level 10 plus zone and starts screaming because of course he did. A giant eagle dives right at him, confirming my guy is about to get his ass handed to him. The game helpfully reminds us he's in a level 10 plus zone just to rub it in. Another eagle flies by, completely unaware it's about to get deleted by a level 1 player. The eagle gets absolutely vaporized by a beam, proving Kyohei's aim is still god tier. A giant monster's eye watches as Kyohei notes his leveling speed is brokenly fast. Kyohei hits level 7 in what seems like minutes, already starting his revenge tour. He checks his stats, realizing his nerfed god gun still makes him a low-level cheat code. Kyohei's eye narrows as he senses an incoming presence because peace was never an option. Our boy Kyohei spots a plume of smoke, wondering what fresh hell is about to ruin his grind. Kyohei looks up as the wind shifts, confirming that his bad luck has a flight plan. He identifies the local field boss, the Great Eagle, like he's meeting an old nemesis. The Great Eagle dives down and Kyohei notes it attacks everyone, which is just rude. A quick info dump shows other players running for their lives from the notorious newbie killer. The narration explains the eagle's drops are amazing, which is why everyone dies trying to get them. The eagle demonstrates its power by dropping a whole-ass log on some poor schmuck. The game explains this flying menace is a source of trauma for all new players. Kyohei smirks, admitting he's got a personal grudge against this bird from his early days. Kyohei aims his nerfed god gun, ready to settle a 10-year-old score with this bird. Our boy declares it's payback time because petty revenge is the best motivation. The Great Eagle dives, instantly deleting 2 other players just to establish dominance. The eagle screeches, completely unaware it's about to fight a level 7 with a nuke. Kyohei fires a massive energy beam because subtlety isn't in his vocabulary anymore. The shot connects, and the eagle screeches in shock that a newbie actually hit it. The Great Eagle looks at its smoking wing, realizing this isn't a normal low-level player. The eagle flails in pain, feathers flying as it takes its first real damage in years. The boss gets absolutely furious and dives down for a kamikaze attack on Kyohei. The Great Eagle crashes through the trees, leaving a perfect Looney Tunes-style hole. The Great Eagle gets absolutely shredded by Kyohei's rapid-fire shots, clearly not used to this. The eagle's wing catches fire, finally learning what it feels like to be on the receiving end. The boss gets pissed and dives down, talons out ready to end this level 7 menace. The Great Eagle grabs a whole-ass log, deciding to fight dirty against our boy. The eagle flies up with its new log weapon, about to drop some lumber on Kyohei. Kyohei just shoots the incoming log because he's not dealing with that Looney Tunes bullshit. The shot blows the eagle's toe clean off, giving it a permanent handicap for its trouble. Kyohei charges up a final massive blast, done playing games with this overgrown pigeon. The Great Eagle's eye reflects its own doom as it screams in pure, unadulterated terror. The eagle's final screech echoes over the forest as it gets completely deleted from existence. The Great Eagle lies defeated and screeching, its newbie-killing career officially over. Kyohei gloats over the dead bird, admitting he wanted to make its death personal. The fearsome Great Eagle shrinks into a baby bird before it finally dies. The eagle's body dissolves into a shower of loot, the only good thing it ever did. Kyohei checks the loot and realizes the legendary boss dropped absolute garbage. Kyohei gets a villainous grin, ready to get his class advancement and continue his grind. Kyohei arrives in a desolate starter zone, feeling the nostalgia of his early days. He approaches the Musket Academy, recalling how he ghosted the master who tried to recruit him. Kyohei nervously knocks, hoping the NPC master doesn't remember him ditching the offer. A mysterious, shadowy figure answers the door, setting up a very awkward reunion. Kyohei, in his new bear mask, awkwardly explains he's here for his musketeer job change. The new master, Raiden, looks down on Kyohei, radiating pure, get-off-my-lawn energy. Kyohei realizes this guy is a high-level specialist and starts sweating under the bear head. Raiden introduces himself and immediately rejects Kyohei because my boy's luck is still garbage. Kyohei panics, asking what happened to the old master he was expecting to see. He remembers the old master, Baron, who personally offered to train him 10 years ago. Raiden tries to slam the door in Kyohei's face, refusing to explain anything. Kyohei desperately stops the door, name-dropping the old master as his last resort. Raiden's eye snaps open, suddenly very interested in what this bear man has to say. Kyohei nervously explains he was offered a spot as a disciple but had to decline. Raiden grabs Kyohei by the collar, clearly not a fan of his 10-year late job application. The new master accuses Kyohei of lying, getting way too personal about this job change quest. Kyohei is completely baffled by the NPC's sudden aggression, because of course he is. Raiden reveals the old master, Baron Seabolt, has been missing for years, adding a new mystery. Kyohei realizes the NPC he ghosted 10 years ago is now a missing person, which is awkward. Raiden yeets Kyohei to the ground, accusing him of being sent by some Patoku group. The new master threatens to kill Kyohei, proving this is the worst job interview ever. Kyohei reflects on how his loner playstyle is finally coming back to bite him in the ass. Our boy gets pissed, wondering why his legendary bad luck followed him to a starter zone. Raiden offers Kyohei a chance to prove himself by completing 40 different tests. Kyohei tries to de-escalate the situation with Raiden, who is clearly not buying his story. Kyohei pulls the "we're from the same school" card, asking if the 40 tests are still a thing. Raiden points out the massive hole in Kyohei's story, questioning why a disciple needs a basic job change. Kyohei gets his swagger back, telling Raiden he'll prove his worth and to just start the damn test. An info dump reveals the 40 tests are a unique quest line from the missing master, Baron Seabolt. Kyohei confirms the first test is the same coin shooting challenge, checking if they added any new nonsense. Raiden concedes Kyohei knows the test, but still can't believe he was the master's special student. Kyohei cuts the chatter, saying he'll prove himself and needs to get this job change over with. Raiden finally caves and tells Kyohei to wait inside while he prepares the test. Kyohei reveals his true motive. He's here for a specific skill only this academy offers. An info dump explains the 1,000-mile step skill Kyohei is gunning for. Raiden spots a familiar-looking NPC walking by, looking suspicious as always. Kyohei recognizes the NPC as Ronaro, the old master's assistant from 10 years ago. My guy blows his cover, greeting the NPC and calling himself Ted. So much for anonymity. Ronaro just bolts, completely ignoring Kyohei's friendly greeting. That's just awkward. Kyohei wonders why he got ghosted as Raiden impatiently calls him for the test. Kyohei enters the testing grounds, noticing the whole place has gone to shit. A dramatic shot of a boot on the cracked ground confirms this place is a dump now. Kyohei connects the dots, realizing the academy's decay is tied to the missing Baron. Raiden lays down the law for the test, saying they provide the gun to keep things fair. Raiden explains the test is to shoot 10 coins from 10 meters in 10 seconds. Ronaro hands Kyohei a standard-issue musket as Raiden tells him to get started. Kyohei aims the gun and immediately realizes something is seriously wrong with it. My guy sees the gun's sights are completely fucked, making the test impossible. Kyohei decides to call out Ronaro on the shoddy equipment. Done with this nonsense. Ronaro just stands there hunched over, completely ghosting him again. What is this guy's deal? Kyohei realizes Ronaro intentionally gave him a busted gun to make him fail. Raiden mocks Kyohei for taking so long, clearly in on this little sabotage plot. Kyohei stalls for a second, trying to figure out how to play this rigged game. Our boy announces he's just going to adjust the sights himself before starting the test. Kyohei just fires the busted gun at Ronaro, who dives for cover like his life depends on it. Raiden absolutely loses his mind, furious that this bearman is causing chaos in his academy. The new master realizes Kyohei wasn't just warning Ronaro, he was aiming for a headshot. The shot misses by a mile, proving the gun was intentionally sabotaged to be useless. Raiden backpedals hard, offering a new gun now that Kyohei has exposed their little scheme. Raiden looks completely stunned as Kyohei apparently refuses his offer for a working weapon. Kyohei flexes his insane game sense, calculating the exact deviation to aim with the broken sights. Our boy unleashes a perfect volley, hitting every single coin with the intentionally busted gun. Raiden is sweating bullets, completely unable to process how Kyohei is acing his rigged test. Kyohei finishes the challenge in 10 seconds flat, making them both look like absolute fools. Kyohei smugly asks Raiden if he hit the targets, flexing his perfect score. Raiden sweats, realizing Kyohei's skill is way beyond just being a good shot. Raiden's inner monologue breaks down the musket's precise 1-second charge time. He explains that even a 0.1 second misfire would have ruined the whole attempt. Raiden questions how a level 10 beginner could have such god-tier timing by feel alone. The new master admits even he couldn't have aced the test with that busted gun. Raiden finally eats crow, acknowledging Kyohei's talent and offering the job change. Kyohei does a goofy victory T-pose as Raiden walks off, completely won over. Our boy reveals his smug act was a front, sweating that it was a close call. Kyohei admits the wind almost made him fail and he needed his bullshit luck to save him. Kyohei remembers his luck getting beat up before calling out the shady assistant Ronaro. Kyohei grabs Ronaro by the hood, demanding to know why he's getting the silent treatment. A flashback shows Ronaro giving Kyohei a rare scope for being the Academy's top student. Ronaro finally snaps, confessing he hates Kyohei for causing the old master to disappear. He explains the Academy was failing and Kyohei was their only hope for a famous graduate. A flashback shows Kyohei rejecting his third job change and ditching the Academy for good. After Kyohei left, the old master Baron went on a journey and just never came back. Ronaro admits he sabotaged the gun out of petty revenge for Kyohei abandoning them. He clenches his fist, admitting he was just jealous that Kyohei was their only hope. Kyohei remembers Ronaro's backstory, realizing the dude saw the missing Baron as a father. Kyohei admits he gets why Ronaro is salty, but reaffirms his goal was always to be number one. Ronaro cuts off Kyohei's apology, already knowing my guy is just going to leave again. The salty assistant offers Kyohei a mysterious box, probably full of more guilt trips. Kyohei takes the box, wondering what kind of parting gift this is from a dude who just sabotaged him. Ronaro reveals the box is from the missing master, Baron, left specifically for Kyohei's return. Kyohei shows some rare empathy, admitting he understands why the NPC is so damn emotional. Our boy asks Ronaro to tell the missing master they're doing fine, trying to smooth things over. Ronaro gives a full-on apology bow as Kyohei finally gets ready to leave this awkward reunion. Kyohei watches the sad NPC leave before turning his attention to the mysterious gift box. A silhouette of the mischievous Baron appears as Kyohei gets a bad feeling about this gift. Kyohei opens the mysterious box from Baron, deciding to just rip the band-aid off. A bright light erupts from the box, and Kyohei's eyes go wide with shock. Kyohei, in his bear mask, is completely stunned by the glowing contents of the box. My guy realizes the gift is a skill orb, a game changer for his level 1 ass. The system confirms it's a D-rank independent skill orb with a hidden skill. Kyohei marvels at his luck, because of course the universe gives him a cheat item. An info dump explains these orbs give skills outside the normal class progression. He remembers his broken title lets him equip and evolve D-rank orbs up to 4 times. Kyohei realizes he can create a brand new skill, which is exactly what a ranker needs. Our boy thanks his missing master and immediately opens the status window to check his new toy. The system reveals the skill is Goblin Summon, a D-rank ability to call 3 level 30 mobs. Kyohei stares in complete disbelief, his excitement instantly turning into pure confusion. My guy has a meltdown, calling the goblin skill absolute trash and questioning his master's gift. Kyohei throws the box in frustration, and a hidden note falls out onto the ground. He reads the note from Baron, which immediately calls him a fool for getting his hopes up. Baron's note reveals the trash skill was petty revenge for Kyohei abandoning the academy. Kyohei starts laughing like a villain, because his sanity has clearly left the building. Our boy absolutely loses it, screaming at the sky about his troll of a former master. Kyohei vows revenge on Baron, who is probably laughing his ass off somewhere in the game. The game introduces the Sauron Plains, a level 20+ zone perfect for rage grinding. An orc attacks a random tank player, setting up a classic low-level MMO encounter. The tank screams for a heal while his healer yells back about her dwindling mana potions. The orc gets instantly domed by a bullet, blood splattering from the surprise headshot. The 2 players watch the orc drop as the healer rages about some bastard stealing her kill. Kyohei's gun is visible from the bushes as he successfully poaches the kill for that sweet XP. Kyohei hits level 59 from his tree perch, sighing about his non-stop sniping grind. Our boy complains that his leveling is so fast he can't even stop to do any quests. A flashback confirms Kyohei got his musketeer job and the 1,000-mile step skill he wanted. Back at the academy, Kyohei dramatically facepalms and flat-out refuses a request from Raiden. Raiden begs Kyohei for help, who complains he's too busy to deal with this NPC's problems. Raiden physically drags Kyohei, trying to guilt-trip him into taking a quest. Kyohei is still salty about Baron's troll gift and doesn't want to help the academy. Raiden explains the quest is to investigate some mysterious stationary clouds in Sauron Plains. The new master wants Kyohei to use his insane skills to scout the weird clouds directly. Kyohei leverages the quest, demanding an introduction to the Thief Clan for a dual class. My guy explains he needs a hookup since criminal classes are exclusive and hard to get. Raiden agrees way too easily, promising to set up the meeting with the thieves. They shake on the deal, and the system officially locks Kyohei into another side quest. Back in his sniping tree, Kyohei wonders about a city of gray skies Baron mentioned. Kyohei grips his +19 gunblade, ready to deal with whatever nonsense the game throws at him. Kyohei lines up another shot on an orc, ready to continue his kill-stealing grind. His scope view gets interrupted as some random player jumps in and steals his target. Kyohei complains from his tree perch about these annoying players ruining his spot. He realizes the players are a bunch of streamers, which is a major trigger for him. Kyohei clenches his fist, salty that he had to quit streaming while these clowns are live. Our boy has to talk himself down from Peking them, knowing it'll mess up his plans. He refocuses on his grind, needing just one more orc to hit the level 60 milestone. Kyohei's scope suddenly goes dark as something massive blocks his line of sight. Our boy is completely baffled, wondering what the hell just ruined his perfect sniping spot. A giant, goofy-looking balloon giant has just parked itself right in front of him. Kyohei debates Peking the streamers because his first solution to any problem is murder. He talks himself down, remembering his revenge grind is more important than petty Peking. The giant, goofy balloon giant streamer waddles past Kyohei's hiding spot, completely oblivious. The balloon giant continues its slow, lumbering walk, basically a giant walking loot piñata. Kyohei has a sudden realization, which usually means someone's day is about to be ruined. Our boy decides the streamer is just a big, slow monster and a perfect source of XP. The balloon giant streamer thanks his chat for donations while manhandling a poor orc. The streamer does a cringy monster squish reaction for his viewers, sealing his own fate. The balloon giant gets instantly deleted in a flash of light, courtesy of Kyohei's Plunder 19 gun. The other streamers just assume their buddy died from his own stupidity, not from a sniper. Kyohei's shot vaporizes the orc because he's not just Peking, he's kill-stealing too. The beam continues and hits another streamer, who is completely baffled by the sudden violence. The streamer finally realizes they're being sniped and screams for cover way too late. His buddy panics, yelling they're sitting ducks in an open field. Yeah, no shit. Kyohei levels up to 65 from the party wipe, racking up a massive 700 crime rate. Our boy relaxes in his tree, calling his murder spree clearing the view. Kyohei calculates the level 150 streamers are now locked out of the game for a week. He casually dismisses his new supervillain level crime rate as totally manageable. Kyohei's non-stop sniping unlocks a brand new vision stat because of course it does. My guy confirms his unique grinding method is literally breaking the game's stat system. Kyohei smirks with a glowing targeting eye, fully embracing his new role as a PK villain. He continues his rampage, vaporizing another poor player who didn't even see it coming. Kyohei, in his bear mask, is genuinely surprised by his own broken attack power. He quickly gets over it, deciding all that matters is the sweet, sweet experience points. Our boy gets interrupted by a system window, because the game never lets him grind in peace. A new guildmaster slams his fist, furious that his entire crew in Area 1 just got wiped. The master grills his subordinate, who confirms no one even saw who attacked them. The subordinate explains they were sniped from an impossible distance with no warning. A flashback shows the players getting deleted in the open field, with nowhere to hide. The subordinate realizes the sniper intentionally targeted the balloon giant to start the massacre. The guildmaster guesses the sniper is level 400, completely underestimating Kyohei's broken-ass gun. The master tosses his subordinate a glowing purple bag, because this guild solution is always shady. The subordinate blushes like he just got a love letter, not a mysterious and dangerous item. The guild master orders him to release whatever's in the bag to stop the sniper's rampage. The game gets a dramatic title card, as if we didn't already know this was a global phenomenon. An info dump introduces the Sauron field, the newbie zone Kyohei has been terrorizing. Kyohei finally leaves his murder perch and heads toward the main city like a tourist. Our boy complains about the travel time, regretting not doing Raiden's Cloud Quest earlier. Kyohei pulls up his stats, finally checking the rewards from his recent player-killing spree. He discovers a new active skill, Reckless Mosquito Bullet, from his non-stop sniping grind. The game system calls Kyohei a madman for killing 10,000 enemies in 10 days. An info dump reveals his reward is a new skill called Reckless Mosquito Bullet. Kyohei sweats, realizing the skill has a lifesteal effect that scales with his attack power. My guy does the math and figures out his Plunger 19 gun makes this skill a broken healing ability. He has a full-on vampire power fantasy, realizing the skill heals half his HP per hit. Kyohei gets a smug grin, thinking this new lifesteal will make his grind much safer. The game immediately hits him with a warning about his 4,700 crime rate attracting guards. Our boy gets instantly humbled by the city guards, promising to behave like a good citizen. Kyohei decides to lay low for a bit, only to get called out by a random NPC. He turns around, completely baffled that his bad luck followed him into the damn city. Two new thugs threaten a low-level player, telling him to shut up or get PK'd. The thug uses a peeling spell to forcibly scan the poor newbie's personal information. The spell reveals the player's name is a meme and he's a clean level 22 musketeer. The thug dismisses the kid, threatening him into silence after confirming he's a nobody. The thugs complain about their mission, revealing they're looking for someone who robbed their crew. The skinny thug's NPC senses start tingling, realizing he might not be alone anymore. Kyohei just walks up behind them while they argue because stealth is for people without bear masks. Kyohei recognizes the shady spell and immediately assumes his old guild enemies are hunting him. The thugs mention they're waiting for a mercenary, confirming this is an organized shakedown. Kyohei talks himself down, realizing the guilds would have sent an army, and decides to just dip. Kyohei gets knocked over by a new white-haired player who apologizes for being lost. The new player looks up at Kyohei's silhouette and has a sudden moment of recognition. The guy immediately grabs Kyohei by the collar because personal space is just a suggestion. The player identifies Kyohei's +19 gunblade, black and white, blowing his cover instantly. Kyohei panics, only for the guy to reveal he just thinks he's a fanboy of Ted. Our boy is completely speechless, processing the sheer audacity of being called his own fan. The fanboy praises Kyohei's replica weapon, calling him a pioneer for copying the original. Kyohei awkwardly accepts the compliment, deciding his new cover story is just being a cosplayer. The fanboy suddenly gets serious, warning Kyohei that he shouldn't stick around this area. Kyohei asks for an explanation because his bad luck never comes without a side of drama. The fanboy asks Kyohei if he's heard of the Paprika Special Forces Guild. Kyohei plays dumb, saying he only watches Ted, as the fanboy calls PASF a bizarre streamer guild. The fanboy explains the guild's content includes framing NPCs and eating monster genitals. Kyohei sweats under his mask, asking why he should care about this guild of absolute freaks. The fanboy reveals the entire streamer guild got wiped out by a sniper in Sauron Plains. Kyohei puts on his best innocent act, pretending to be completely shocked by this news. The fanboy asks if he saw anything, and Kyohei realizes his lay-low plan is already failing. Kyohei frantically denies knowing anything, and the fanboy just dismisses the whole thing as a waste of time. The two thugs are still in the background, continuing their shakedown on some poor random player. Kyohei curses his luck and tries to change the subject by asking about other guilds in the area. The fanboy explains the streamer guild used the sniper attack as an excuse to ambush another guild. Kyohei is completely baffled, realizing his murder spree just kicked off a full-blown guild war. The fanboy reveals the two guilds were already enemies and just needed a reason to throw down. Kyohei hears the rival guild is leaving the area and immediately logs out to avoid the drama. The fanboy is left completely stunned as Kyohei just vanishes mid-conversation. The fanboy blames himself, thinking his Ted fanboying scared the cosplayer away. The two thugs finally find their target, interrupting the fanboy's moment of self-doubt. The thugs nervously ask the fanboy if he's the mercenary they were sent to find. The fanboy confirms he's the merc, asking if their boss sent them to welcome him. The fanboy has a moment of panic, realizing he completely forgot to report his arrival. The two thugs realize their hired mercenary is a ranker and immediately start panicking. The mercenary Roan answers a video call from his guildmaster, confirming his arrival on site. Roan's boss tells him to stand by while the thugs use a Demon Realm bundle on the target. Roan agrees to the plan as a stat window reveals he's a level 551 ranked player.